People say triplets have a special connection, stronger than regular siblings. Growing up, I believed that was true for Rachel and me. We looked exactly alike, but were very different in personality. I was careful and cautious, while she loved taking risks. Still, we were always together as kids. But high school changed everything. Rachel became part of the popular crowd, while I focused on my studies. Over time, we grew apart, so slowly that I barely noticed. The long talks we used to have in our shared bedroom became shorter, then turned into quick greetings in the hallway. By senior year, we were like strangers living in the same house. One night at dinner, Rachel suddenly announced, "I'm moving in with Mark." She was 19, fresh out of high school, and deeply in love with her rich boyfriend. Mom nearly choked on her coffee. "But what about college?" she asked. "College isn't for everyone," Rachel shrugged, twirling her spaghetti. "Mark says I don't have to worry about that. He'll take care of everything." I glanced at Dad and saw the same worry in his eyes that I felt inside. But once Rachel made up her mind, no one could change it. Within weeks, she was married and living in Mark's mansion across town. I took a different path. I focused on college while Rachel had her first baby at 21, a beautiful boy. While I was studying late for my finance exams, she had a daughter a year later. By the time I graduated with honors and started my career in banking, Rachel seemed to have the perfect life: a rich husband, 3 wonderful kids, and a life of luxury. But life doesn't always go as planned. While she had everything on the outside, I had my own struggles. I got married 3 years after finishing school, and while my marriage brought me happiness, it did not bring children. The doctor's final answer was clear: infertility. The word felt like a heavy weight in my stomach, crushing dreams I didn't even realize I had. "It's not the end of the world, Olivia," my husband would say, holding me as I cried. "We can adopt, or we can just be the cool aunt and uncle." He was right, of course, but that didn't make the pain any easier. We tried to make our marriage work for a few more years, but in the end, we decided to part ways peacefully. Sometimes, love just isn't enough to fix the distance that life creates. Meanwhile, I watched from a distance as Rachel seemed to have the perfect life. Her social media was full of pictures, family vacations, expensive clothes, and her beautiful kids. I felt mixed emotions. I was happy for her, but I also envied her ability to have children. Then one morning, my phone was flooded with messages and missed calls. Mark had found out Rachel was cheating multiple times. But that wasn't even the biggest shock. He had done DNA tests on both children, and the results changed everything. Neither of them was his. "Get out." I could hear Mark's angry voice through the phone when Mom called to tell me what happened. "Pack your things and get out of my house. And don't expect a dime from me. They're not even my kids." Just like that, Rachel's perfect life was over. 9 years of marriage ended in a single day. She had no college degree, no job, and no home. She had no choice but to move back in with our parents, bringing her 3 confused and heartbroken children with her. What was she thinking? I asked Mom during one of our late-night calls. How could she do this to her kids? Mom let out a deep sigh. "You know your sister, Olivia. She's always lived in the moment. But now, she needs our help. The kids need our help." Our parents did what they could, but their small income barely covered their own needs. As a department head at the commercial bank where I worked, I had the money to help. At first, I just sent money to Rachel, thinking she would use it for the kids. That illusion didn't last long. One day, I dropped by their house unexpectedly. I found the kids wearing old, worn-out clothes, while Rachel walked around in a brand-new designer outfit. "What are you doing?" I confronted her in the kitchen, keeping my voice low so the children wouldn't hear. "That money was for the kids." Rachel rolled her eyes and checked her reflection in a shiny new compact mirror. "Look, Olivia, I need to look good. How else am I supposed to find another husband? You don't understand. You have your career, but I need to secure my future. By spending your children's money on makeup and clothes?" I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Oh, please," she snapped, closing her compact mirror. "Not everyone can be perfect like you, Olivia, with your fancy job and your high morals. I need to get back out there and find someone new, someone with money. That was the moment I realized I couldn't trust my sister to take care of her kids. From then on, I took control. Every weekend, I picked up my niece and nephew, taking them shopping for clothes, shoes, and school supplies, whatever they needed. I made sure they had good quality winter coats, soccer cleats, and everything else. Soon it became our routine. The kids spent weekends and holidays at my house, where they had their own rooms. We went on little adventures, museums, parks, movies. I taught them how to bake cookies, helped them with their homework, and listened to their stories. Then one day, everything changed. It started like any other day. I was at work when my phone rang. Mom's voice was shaking so badly, I could barely understand her. "Olivia, you need to come over right now. It's Rachel. She's gone." I rushed over and found Mom crying on the couch, Dad sitting nearby, his hands trembling as he held a piece of paper. Thankfully, the kids were at school, unaware that their world was about to be turned upside down again. "She just left," Dad said, handing me the letter. "We found this morning." The letter wasn't even handwritten, it was typed. Classic Rachel. She couldn't even bother to write by hand while abandoning her children. "Dear family, I've met the love of my life. He's everything I've ever wanted, and we're moving to another state to start fresh. He doesn't want to raise someone else's kids, and honestly, neither do I. They'll only get in the way of my happiness." I had to stop reading. My hands were shaking with anger, but the next part made my blood run cold. "Olivia, I'm actually doing you a huge favor. You can't have kids, so here you go, you can have mine. Consider it a gift from one sister to another." How dare she? I crumpled the paper in my fist. How dare she use my infertility like that? And the kids, they were 12 and 11, not puppies you could just give away. Mom wiped her eyes. "What are we going to do? We can't raise them at our age, Olivia. And, with your father's health, I'll take them," I said without hesitation. "They practically live with me anyway. I'll get a lawyer first thing tomorrow." The legal process was easier than I expected, mostly because Rachel made it clear she wanted nothing to do with it. When she was asked to come to court for the custody hearing, she didn't even bother to show up. Instead, she sent a notarized document, a complete waiver of her parental rights. The judge reviewed my finances, my home, and the strong bond one already had with the kids. 1 month later, I became their legal guardian. As the years passed, Rachel's absence became just another part of life. No birthday cards, no calls, not even a simple text message to her children. I still remember the first Christmas after she left. Ryan, her son, had made a beautiful ceramic ornament at school. "Do you think we should mail it to Mom?" he asked hesitantly, holding the delicate piece in his hands. Amy, his sister, just shook her head. "Why bother? She doesn't even know where we live anymore." Those first years were the hardest. Sometimes, I'd catch them looking at old family photos, trying to understand why their mother left. But little by little, those moments became less frequent, replaced by new memories we were making together. Mom and Dad would get occasional calls from Rachel. They always told me in a casual way, like they were trying not to upset me. "Your sister called yesterday," Mom would say, stirring her tea as if it needed more mixing. "She's doing well. Very well, actually." "Did she ask about the kids?" I'd ask, even though I already knew the answer. Mom would look away. She was in a hurry, you know how it is. But I did see glimpses of Rachel's life, by accident. I'd walk into the living room, and Dad would quickly minimize his browser window, but not before I caught a glimpse. Photos of Rachel on a yacht in the Hawaii, posing in front of a mansion in the Shelter Island, leaning against the hood of a Ferrari. "Must be nice," I muttered one day as Mom quickly closed the laptop. Living the high life while her kids wore hand-me-downs their first year with me. "Olivia," Mom started, but I cut her off. "No, really. She has enough money for designer handbags, but couldn't send Ryan a card when he made the honor roll? Couldn't spare a few dollars for Amy's dance recital costume?" Eventually, I stopped looking, stopped asking, stopped wondering. My life became a careful balance of work and family, a routine I followed every day. And somehow, without Rachel in the picture, we managed just fine. During the day, I worked hard at the bank. At night, I helped with homework. Weekends were busy with soccer games, dance recitals, and science fairs. Dating? That was the last thing on my mind. A few men came and went, but none understood that my kids came first. Yes, my kids, because that's what they had become. Despite, or maybe because of, their mother's absence, they thrived. Ryan was great with numbers. Even as a kid, he helped balance my checkbook and invested his allowance in stocks. By the time he was 17, he was already thinking about finance as a career. Amy, on the other hand, loved to argue. Every dinner conversation turned into a fun courtroom debate. "You should have been a lawyer," she told me one night while we worked on her college applications. I smiled. One lawyer in the family is enough. Besides, who would help your brother understand finance? Mom. Ryan called from the kitchen somewhere along the way. He had started calling me that. "You know I'm better at finance than you are." He wasn't wrong. By the time college acceptance letters arrived, Ryan had already secured an internship at a top financial firm. Amy, meanwhile, had her pick of the best law schools in the country. Paying for their education wasn't easy. Prestigious schools don't come cheap. I sold my vacation home, took extra consulting jobs on weekends, and never regretted a single penny. Seeing them succeed made every sacrifice worth it. No mansion or yacht, no matter how fancy, could compare to the pride I felt when they called me Mom. I hadn't planned anything big for my 52th birthday, but Ryan and Amy had other ideas. "It's a milestone, Mom," they insisted. Before I knew it, they had booked the nicest restaurant in town and invited everyone, my parents, old friends, colleagues, and extended family. The night was perfect. The private dining room was filled with laughter, conversation, and glasses clinking. Stories from the past 2 decades flowed freely. I watched Ryan charm the room with his financial knowledge while Amy kept everyone entertained with her courtroom stories. Then Ryan tapped his glass for attention. "Aunt Olivia, I mean Mom," he corrected himself with a grin. "Can you come outside for a minute? We have a little surprise for you." The cool night air brushed against my face as we stepped outside. Right in front of the restaurant, parked by the entrance, was a brand new Mercedes, wrapped in a huge red bow that fluttered in the breeze. What is this?" I stammered, still in shock. Amy came up behind me, smiling. Amy wrapped her arms around me, tears streaming down her face. "This is for you, Mom, because that's who you are to us. Not just an aunt who took us in, but the woman who raised us, loved us, and made us who we are today." I couldn't hold back my own tears. Behind us, our party guests spilled out onto the sidewalk, gasping and clapping. My parents stood in the doorway, Mom dabbing her eyes with a tissue. We took pictures together, me and my children, smiling in front of the car, all of us wiping away happy tears. Later that night, I posted one of the photos on social media with a simple caption. "Blessed beyond measure by these 2 incredible humans who call me Mom. Best birthday gift ever. Not the car, but their love." 4 days later, my phone rang. The number wasn't saved, but I knew instantly who it was. "How dare you?" Rachel's voice crackled through the speaker. I sighed. "Excuse me? Don't play dumb, Olivia. I saw the photos. Those are my children. That should be my car. We're triplets. It was my 52th birthday too. And I'm their real mother." Real mother? I couldn't stop the anger in my voice. Where was their real mother when Ryan needed surgery? When Amy had her first heartbreak? When they graduated? That's not fair," she snapped. "That car rightfully belongs to me." I took a deep breath. "Listen carefully, Rachel. First, they are adults. They decide who to give gifts to. Second, being a mother isn't about blood. It's about showing up every day through every high and low. And third, instead of demanding gifts, maybe you should be begging for their forgiveness for abandoning them." "You've always been so self-righteous," she muttered. "No," I said firmly. "I've always been there. That's the difference. Don't call me again unless it's to apologize to your children." The next morning, my phone rang again. This time, it was Mom. I answered, still groggy from a restless night, expecting something about Thursday dinner. "Olivia, honey," Mom said in that pleading voice she used when she wanted a favor. "We need to talk about the car." I sat up. What about it? It's your sister. She's going through a really rough time. Her boyfriend left her for some 20-something model, and now she's practically broke. Maybe you could, give her the car? She needs it more than you do right now. You already have a perfectly good one. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Are you serious? I cut her off. That car was a gift from my children, a thank you for 23 years of love and dedication. It's not some spare tire I can just hand over. I'm not just going to hand over the car to Rachel because she ruined another relationship, I said firmly. I heard Dad's voice in the background, murmuring something, and then the sound of Mom covering the phone. A moment later, she was back. Olivia, you need to be the bigger person here. Your sister made mistakes, yes, but that's in the past. We need to forgive and forget. My voice rose. Forgive and forget? She abandoned her children. She wrote a letter saying they would ruin her happiness and walked away without a second thought. And now that her latest rich boyfriend has left her, she suddenly remembers she has a family? That's not fair, Olivia, Mom insisted. She was young. She made mistakes. She was 30 when she left them, I snapped. And where were you and Dad when I was working 65-hour weeks to put them through college? When I sold my vacation home to pay for their tuition? Did you tell Rachel to forgive and forget back then? There was silence. Olivia, please. We're done here, I said and hung up. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. That evening, my phone buzzed nonstop. Messages poured in from friends and family asking if I was okay, saying they were there for me if I needed to talk. Confused, I opened social media. My stomach dropped. Rachel had posted a long, dramatic message, complete with old family photos. Her version of events sounded like something out of a soap opera, how I had stolen her children through the courts, how I had turned them against her with lies and manipulation. According to her post, she had been forced to leave town because of my bullying while I used her children as props to boost my social status. My own sister, she wrote, who couldn't have children of her own, saw an opportunity to play the hero. She took advantage of a difficult time in my life to steal my babies. And now, she's demanding expensive gifts from them as payment for her so-called generosity. She never loved them. She just wanted to look good in front of her rich friends. The post had hundreds of likes, comments, and shares. But the part that hurt the most? Seeing Mom's name among the people who had liked it. My own mother, who had watched me raise those kids, who had seen every sacrifice, every late night, every struggle, had publicly sided with Rachel's lies. My phone rang at midnight. It was Ryan. His voice was tight with anger. We saw the post, Mom. Amy's been crying for hours. How dare she twist everything like this? I took a deep breath, trying to calm him. It's okay, sweetheart. People who matter know the truth. No. Amy's voice cut in. They must have been on speaker. It's not okay. We're not letting her get away with this. Mom, remember that letter? The one you kept? Of course, I said. I remembered exactly where it was. In my home office, safely tucked away in a fireproof box alongside their birth certificates and other important papers. I hadn't kept it out of spite. I had kept it because a mother's instinct is to protect her children, even from pain they haven't yet seen coming. We need to tell our side, Ryan insisted. The real story, not her made-up version where she's the victim. The next morning, I sat at my computer, my hands hovering over the keyboard. The letter lay beside me, its paper yellowed with age, but the words still sharp enough to cut. I wrote about a mother who left her children with nothing but a cold, typed letters saying they would get in the way of her happiness. I wrote about middle school graduations where an empty chair always stood out, about college acceptance letters that were never shared with their biological mother, because she never even asked for their address. Then, I scanned the letter, that final, heartless farewell, and posted it alongside my words. The date stamp was clear, the signature at the bottom unmistakable. Within hours, the post exploded. Family members who had sided with Rachel's version of the story were now sending shocked messages. We had no idea. How could she? Then came Ryan's comment. I was 12 when our mother decided we weren't worth keeping. 12 when she traded us for a man who didn't want another man's kids. But we weren't abandoned. We were blessed. Our aunt became our mother. Not by blood, but by choice. Every day, she chose us. And now we choose her. Amy's comment followed. To the woman who gave birth to us, you call yourself our mother. But where were you? Where were you when I had my first heartbreak? When Ryan broke his arm? When we graduated? Our real mother was there. Our Aunt Olivia, who became simply Mom. She earned that title through years of love, sacrifice, and unwavering support. My parents remained silent. No comments. No likes. No private messages. Their silence spoke volumes. But Ryan wasn't done yet. A few evenings later, he called me, excitement in his voice. Mom, I've been working on something. I think it's time to show everyone what family really means. The video he created brought tears to my eyes. Set to soft music, it was a collection of moments from our life together, photos and video clips gathered from family albums and old home recordings. There I was, cheering at Ryan's first soccer game, helping Amy with her science project, laughing over homemade birthday cakes, Christmas mornings in pajamas, unwrapping gifts, their high school graduations, their college graduations. A life built on love, not blood. A family created by choice, not chance. I stood there, smiling with pride, adjusting their graduation caps and tassels. Post it, Ryan said softly. Let this be the final word. The video ended with a clip from my 52th birthday, the three of us hugging in front of the Mercedes, pure happiness shining on our faces. The caption was simple. Family is built with love, not blood. Thank you, Mom, for choosing us every single day. The morning after we posted the video, my phone rang. It was my mother. I almost let it go to voicemail, but out of habit, I answered. How could you do this to your sister? Her voice was shaking with anger. Humiliating her in front of everyone like that. You've always been jealous of her, always trying to prove you're better. Stop right there, I interrupted, surprised at how calm I felt. I didn't humiliate anyone. I just told the truth with proof. It's time to let go of the past, Olivia. What's done is done. You need to take those posts down and apologize to your sister. She's living with us now. She has nothing left. I looked at the framed photo on my desk, Ryan and Amy at their college graduations, both of them hugging me tightly, their faces full of love and pride. No, Mom, I said firmly. I won't apologize for telling the truth. And I won't pretend the past didn't happen just because it's easier for you and Rachel. Olivia, you made your choice, Mom. You chose your side when you liked her lies about me. When you hid her social media posts from me. When you made excuses for her walking away from her own children. I took a deep breath. She's your daughter. But Ryan and Amy? They're my children. That was my choice. And unlike Rachel, I kept my commitment. The line went dead. She had hung up. And somehow, I knew it was the last conversation we'd ever have. That was 7 months ago. Through family, I heard that Rachel is still living with our parents, trying to get back on her feet. Ryan and Amy don't visit their grandparents anymore. They can't stand the thought of running into the woman who abandoned them. Life has settled into a new normal. I see my children often. Thursday dinners are still a tradition, just with a smaller family now. Ryan's business is thriving. And Amy, well, Amy gave me news that had me floating for days. Mom, she said, holding out her hand, her eyes shining as I took in the beautiful engagement ring. Will you help me plan the wedding? I want everything to be perfect. Tears filled my eyes as I pulled her into a hug. Of course. Now, my dining room table is covered with bridal magazines and fabric swatches. Yesterday, as we debated flower arrangements, Amy suddenly went quiet. What is it, sweetheart? I asked. She smiled softly. I was just thinking someday. When I have kids, they're going to have the best grandma in the world, Amy said, smiling. You'll be amazing with them, just like you were with us. I smiled, feeling my heart swell. Life really does come full circle. Years ago, doctors told me I would never have children of my own. They were wrong. I may not have given birth to them, but I ended up with 3 incredible kids who chose me just as much as I chose them. And now, as I help my daughter plan her wedding, I look forward to the next chapter of our story, one filled with even more love, more joy, and maybe, just maybe, the sound of little feet running around, calling me grandma.